Hello everybody, welcome back to the Marks Guide. This video I'm actually just going to do Mark 51, that's Attacus the Soulless. Reason why this one's going to be really only one mark is because this battle just takes way longer than any of the other marks up to this point, so this one will be, just like I said, quite a bit longer. As far as strategy here, boy, there's just a lot to this fight, and really a lot of it just comes down to having the correct paradigms.
The seed dwell outside the natural order. Should their strength fail them, they become the mindless foes of life itself.
Oh, great, another one. Nothing like witnessing survival of the fittest firsthand. Oh boy. The Seath?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's not here to help.
Alright, so if that didn't scare you. Alright, so here he is. I used a, what was that, a Fortisol and a Aegisol before I started the battle. That can help out a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's all that necessary, to be honest. It's just going to give you, or it's just going to shorten up the battle by a few seconds at the beginning, just so that, or just because that way you don't have to flip yourselves up. Now, the first thing I ended up doing here was starting out in assassination and just trying to land some debuffs on him. I wouldn't stress too much about debuffs later on in the fight because he's got a couple of skills that are gonna automatically wipe those debuffs off of him. And then on top of that, to be honest, snow and lightning are not the best debuffers. But if you've got somebody like Fang with you, or Vanille, you know, and you've got their weapons that increase the chances of landing debuffs, you can put those to work here. Now, again, that being said, though, he is going to wipe them off time and time again. So, at a certain point, I almost don't feel like it's all that worth it. But anyways, like I said earlier, one of the keys to this battle is actually having the correct paradigm set up. And then along with that, it's kind of getting a feel for the flow of the battle. He's going to use these skills where, we'll see once he actually gets to the first one. I don't remember if the first one is concentrate, but he gets like, one of the abilities is concentrate, one of them is meditate. And what that does is he basically charges up for a really damaging attack. And you really want to have a sentinel absorb that. So the crummy thing is, though, is I don't know if when he starts to charge, I don't know if you can actually provoke him during that time. So you almost kind of have to predict when he's going to use it. And you'll see here a couple of times I didn't get that ability to land on the correct target. So and that was really just because I stayed in a different paradigm for too long and I didn't you know, get into one where a sentinel is active. Now, that being said, I know sometimes strategy is to actually have a paradigm set up with like a sentinel the entire time, and I guess that's okay. But to be honest, I didn't really like that. I've done that before, and I didn't. I felt like as long as you get a good feel for the battle and know what you're doing. You don't necessarily need to do that, so you'll just see me swapping between paradigms a ton here. So that's kind of, I guess, how it all pans out. Now, I don't know if random instant chain works here or not. I don't think it ever fired off for me, and to be honest, it would be super cheesy if it did. So I kind of feel like Attacus probably, or you're probably not going to see that ability trigger here. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe I just got, you know, really unlucky, but it never seemed to go off while I was fighting him. So keep that in mind. Now, another thing is, you know, if you... Now, I never really got... I never got him staggered, for one thing. I don't know if he actually even can be. Or if, you know, you just hit 999% and then it just stops there. I don't know. But, anyways, alright, so the first phase of the fight looks like that's the first about 20% or something like that. And then once he drops down to 80% life, he uses this unrelenting blade or something like that. And I think this one is going to start ripping buffs off of our characters here, as well as there's concentrate. So actually he starts using concentrate, and then it looked like it removed 2 buffs from snow. And then once he actually landed the hit, it looked like it took off another buff. So keep that in mind. You're going to have you know, some way of buffing your characters back up while, you know, still doing damage, or at least that's what I would suggest here. That what is this, decimation seems to do really well. That obviously keeps the stagger gauge from dropping down too low, as well as still boosting it with 1 Ravager, and then Hope doing some buffs. That's the other thing with this fight. You don't ever want to lose the chain gauge. If you lose the chain, you're gonna be really hurting. He's very obviously very resistant to chaining anyway, which is why he doesn't or why I'm not upping that chain gauge by much with these attacks. But there you have you swiped lightning there, and that's another kind of neat thing that I didn't realize I had done before the fight even started. I actually had a paradigm set up with 2 sentinels and Hope as the medic, and that's not a bad idea. If he starts to use like concentrate, you can jump to that paradigm, or even one that if you've got Tortoise set up, that's the 3 sentinel. You can actually, you know, jump over to that one really quick while he's charging up, and then after he's unleashed that ability, then you can go back into like healing or something. You know. So you know, keep that in mind. That's kind of that's not a bad way to go about it too. But anyways, we're gradually, ever so gradually, getting his chain gauge to raise here. And see, so there you go. Whenever he uses concentrate, he's getting rid of his debuff. So I can't really say that you know, constantly debuffing him is going to be all that beneficial. Again, unless you're using somebody like Vanilla or Fang that, you know, they're going to more often land their debuffs, I guess. So again, you know, really just keep that in mind, that the debuffs do help. You know, it's not that they don't help, it's just it stinks to have to constantly reapply them. So here, yes, now this is a perfect example here. I kind of go overboard, and I mean, really, to be honest, you know, D-Shell and D-Protect is not a bad idea, but you don't need to keep going with Slow and Curse. You know, I just feel like that's kind of wasting time. And then he got rid of all of them anyway, so it didn't really do me that much good. But yeah, again, like I said, this fight really comes down to your paradigms, and then you know, towards the end of the battle, it gets basically the battle gets more and more difficult as you go, as he drops down in health. So that's the other thing that you really want to make sure that you got that, or you keep your chain gauge, because if it ever depletes, like, you know, we'll just say it depletes midway through the battle, well, that's going to mean that the very, very end of the battle, where he's the strongest, you're going to be in a lot of danger there, because he's going to be just slamming you, and you're not going to have you know, that chain gauge really, really high to help get him down faster. So you're going to have to deal with that phase for longer. Here's Peerless Blade. That looked like that was from about 50%. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe 40. But here's where he starts using Meditate. And I don't actually remember the difference. I think Meditate actually just hits harder. Yeah, it's like a multi-hit. So, and it debuffs as well as, you know, Concentrate did. So basically, it's a super beefed up form of Concentrate. Now, from here on out, again, you know, that's the biggest thing is here to not lose your chain, because we're at about we're at about 470% right now, and if you can imagine having that back down to you know, if you had lost that, you'd only be doing a fraction of the damage to him, and this, again, this part of the fight just gets really brutal, so you got to really be careful. And from here on out, I definitely recommend trying to time out these abilities. And what I mean by that is, every so often, you know, he's going to use meditate. So if you feel like it's about to happen, and again, you know, it's going to take maybe a little bit of experience to get it down, but you know, every so often you're just going to want to switch back to having one of your characters, at least one of your characters, as a sentinel, because, you know, like I said, that ability is pretty brutal, and you don't want to get caught out like I did here a couple of times. And you'll see here, there he starts to meditate. Luckily, Snow is already in the sentinel role, so this one didn't end up being too big of a deal, but I think probably the next two get a little gross. And again, that's just because I didn't time it out well, and I stayed in, you know, one of the other paradigms for just a little bit too long. And here you see, I think a big part of this final part of the fight as well is making sure that after he has used meditate, that you get back into a paradigm where you know, one of your characters can renew those buffs that he took off, because you know, the fewer buffs that your character has, the more of an issue it's going to become. And you really don't want to get rid of things like haste. Like, so now Snow doesn't have haste. He doesn't have. Oh, and there, Hope almost got one shot by that ability. He was down to 2 health. So if that gives you an idea how much damage this guy can do. But anyways, so. Keep yourselves up with, or keep your buffs up. A big thing with that is even kind of like that buff, that like vigilance and stuff. Now, to be honest, I don't know that vigilance is all that great of a buff for this particular fight, but it's kind of like a junk buff where, you know, I'd rather have that get taken off than haste, or that taken off than protect. And there you have it. So. I did the same thing happened again there, where I didn't quite get back into a paradigm with a sentinel in it, and Hope ended up just getting wrecked there. So, you know, again, just keep that in mind. But all right, anyways, wow, we're getting really close to the end though. This battle really, to be honest, isn't going to be going too much longer, which is a good thing, because. Obviously, you can see here my buffs are gradually dwindling down, and it gets a little hairy when that starts to happen. Now here we're getting decimation going again, just to get those, or, you know, try to get some of those buffs back on. And the other crappy thing about that too is, you know, when you start getting low on buffs like this, well, then you need to spend more time getting the buffs put back on, and that means less healing, and, you know, it becomes kind of an issue. So.
Much appreciated.
So, you know, even a paradigm that's got like, you know, a commando and then 2 synergists, and you can use that for a little while to help try to get kind of caught back up. You know, so little things like that can help. Now, luckily, this ended up going fairly well here, and I didn't have to do, didn't need that. But you can, like I said, you can see my buffs gradually were getting worn down here. So it was a good thing the battle ended when it did, because it was probably gonna start getting kind of bad here. But anyways, you know what? I'm pretty much gonna cut the commentary here, though. The reward for this is actually the first. Well, technically, it'll be my first Genji glove of the game. That's actually gonna be it's an interesting item. It removes the damage cap, so you can hit for more than 99,999. So keep that in mind. Very good item. It's not the only one in the game. Technically, you can actually get 3 of them. and the next few will be from, you know, doing more marks. But there you have it. There's the 5-star and the Genji glove, and we got our rank of Guardian of Virtue. Anyways, that was the Attacus guide, and I hope you like it, and hope you join me for more marks. All right, thanks for watching.
Fortune smiles upon the strong and worthy. Surrender not to despair. The future of life cycle goes with you.
What do you know? I think the big guy approves.